Hey, hello there, Salon Doctor, Mr. John Farr here, Mr. Very old John Farr. I look in this camera and I think, whoa, I am old. Maybe the industry has made me that way. I don't know. Hey, here's something that'll make everybody old, and it's called the war of the wages, if you will. It's a crazy thing that's going on right now. It's been going on for the last couple of years, but even getting worse now is the perception that everybody wants to make considerably more money than they've ever made before. And as you know, the federal minimum wage is still, I believe, 7.25, which is absurd. But of course, the McDonald's and the Burger Kings of the world, and particularly Amazon, are paying a lot of money for people for entry level labor. So the question comes down is how do I handle the rising wages that all employees want? I get this from my clients, if not daily, at least a couple, 3 times a week. How do I handle all this? Because this is becoming a real shock value in terms of your percent of revenue that is payroll. How do I also find great employees, and how do I pay them? How does my salon survive paying out the kind of monies that people seem to all want? So let's move on and talk about this subject right up front here. It's what hourly rate do I need to pay to get great employees? Well, okay, depending upon your market and depending upon the talent that you're looking for, that can make a big difference. There are some markets where, I mean, I have a one particular small chain I'm thinking of right now that starts people at I believe it's 9 or 9.50 an hour. Others that start them at $12 an hour, and it just depends on the market that you're in. But let's talk some more about this here. Let's talk about, first of all, from a sales consultant personnel. And the question is, what should I pay them? And it's all over the board. 9, 11, 12. Where does it end? Burger King's, McDonald's, they're all paying more and more money. And of course, the problem that we're all faced with is because of the pandemic and stimulus funds that were handed out as unemployment. And I guess it's still 20. There's still 23 states that are still paying state unemployment in addition to the federal $300, I think it is, a week, whatever. So you got some people that are wanting to sit at home. Now, I would say that actually those are not the people that we want anyway. A person that wants to sit home and get paid is probably not the person that we want. However, I do understand the practical application that some may find that getting the federal along with the state unemployment might be more money than what they're making at the salon. That can happen. I think that the stimulus payments will eventually go away here pretty soon. But if you're in states that have already stopped paying it, then you're in a better position. So that ideal personnel for sales personnel that we're looking for, this is the thing that I want to talk about now, because when you're thinking about what is it that I need to pay to get great employees, well, first of all, somebody that has an excellent appearance. When you're doing the interview, are they coming in with their hair done, makeup? Do they already have some kind of color, some kind of tan? Are they dressed nice? Whatever. Does it look like they just became a refugee from somewhere in the Middle East? Excellent appearance is important. Of course, mature judgment when you get into both the screening calls and also the interview. You're looking for somebody that has mature judgment, and because they're going to be making decisions on your money and your customers. And how about also great interpersonal skills? You get into an interview, and if someone seems like they're a wallflower, it's not probably going to get any better when they get into your salon. Somebody that is very conversive and very inviting to you, to into their world, and inviting, asking for invitation into your world. This is what you want. Now, I've got out on YouTube, I have an interviewing webinar that's on there that can help you a lot if you go to it, and it's been viewed, I think, a couple hundred times or whatever. I think overall the YouTube webinars we've done, I think it's over 6,000, which, compared to the newest leisure line or lingerie line by Rihanna is nothing. But for our industry, as small as it is, 6,000 views, I guess I'm okay with that. But great interpersonal skills, and then a background with indulgence services. If this is what you want, you don't want to take somebody that's just been working the drive-up window at Wendy's. Now, if you're thinking about if they're looking for a part-time job for cleaning beds during the peak season, as you know, peak though is coming to an end here, so maybe that's a little different story. But I'd want somebody from indulgence. Maybe they worked at a massage chain like Massage Envy. Maybe they looked at a beauty supply house. Maybe they worked at a high test beauty shop or whatever. Maybe they worked in tanning. That would be great if they did. If they worked at a fitness center, yes, that's somewhat indulgent. Um, but that's what you have to find out in that interview if in fact they have all of the things above that we're talking about. And of course, the most important thing at all, and this is something that you really can't get around, the most important thing in that sales consultant trying to determine what you're going to pay for them, because you pay for value, you really do, or at least you should be, is we're looking for someone that has a passion for tanning. All over this industry, we have clients, have had clients in every state, and we have them right now, I believe, in 19 states. And around those states, the people that I talk to that work in those salons, the ones that are really good have an incredible passion for the tanning industry. And a lot of times you see people working for less money as sales consultants than they could probably make someplace else because there's so much satisfaction in what they're doing. And you know, that's what we want, isn't that? Don't you want people that say, this is great. I'm working in an industry that what we sell, the service we provide, that people leave, they feel better about themselves. That's really, really very important. And so the ones that I know that have the highest sales numbers almost invariably are people that came to the job with a real passion for tanning. So what do you pay? Depending upon your market, I don't think you're going to get a lot of great employees at $9 an hour to start with, but talk some more about that in just a minute. But how about management personnel? So the question is, what should I pay them? Do I pay them $10 an hour to start with, 12, 14, 16? Should I offer hourly or salary? A couple different questions there. I would say right now, among our clients that you're seeing managers being paid a good manager prospect that you're hiring, starting at least $13 an hour. We've got some that are $15, $16 an hour. And so the question goes back, how can I afford all this? And the question I would put back to you, how can you afford not to? You know, you probably wouldn't blush at paying $20,000 or $25,000 for a used piece of really good equipment. Well, the good equipment doesn't do you any good if you don't have good human equipment to sell it. So, and particularly to manage it, you really, really need that. And then the question is, should I offer hourly or should I offer salary? Now, salary, you have to be careful that if you're hiring a manager to be a manager of your salon, then employment law dictates that they truly are a manager and not just somebody that you want to hire on a salary and then have them work 50 hours a week. What we've seen in the retail field over many years is that there's what we call a burnout factor. You get much past 45, 48 hours in a week, there seems to be a burnout factor. It's just a lot of hours for people to work, and they tend to lose their passion, and you don't want that. So salary, it can work depending upon the employee. Hourly, are you better off to go hourly and have your manager only work 30 or 35 hours a week? So much of it depends on you. If you're the owner, depends on, are you spending some time on the counter? Are there other people that are your family that are working on the counter as well? Maybe you don't need a manager that's working 40 to 45 hours a week. So maybe it's a moot point whether it's a salary or an hourly. But I tell you, as far as hourly, if you think you're going to get good managers at $10 an hour, you're not. And I'm going to talk about what we get sometimes when we offer cheap wages. Okay, what is the ideal management profile? Because we were talking about sales consultants before, and really, all you want them to have all the consultant attributes that we see over on the left side of the screen over here. You want that excellent appearance, mature judgment, interpersonal skills, background with indulgence, and of course, a passion for tanning. But you also want some real experience in managing retail employees, such as if they say they've been a manager and they talk about, we'll talk about their background. Did they get involved in interviewing? Did they get involved in hiring? Did they do performance reviews? This is important because it talks about, did they give performance feedback to their employees? And if you look at the interviewing webinar that we've got on my YouTube channel, you'll see the kinds of questions that you can ask. And there's also, I believe, a list of, I think we've got 32 questions for interviews that you can choose from. But training, did they do training? Or did they schedule employees? Motivating, redirecting, and lastly, did they have to fire somebody? You want to ask them about all these situations and to give you specifics. If they can't give you specifics, or if they're a little bit cavalier about it, then you got to wonder if they really were a manager. Okay, so next is really the best talent, and this is what I was alluding to before with hourly wages. The best talent is never cheap. And if you find somebody that you think is really good and you can get them cheap, you won't have them for long. If somebody takes a job with you that looks like they're really a good sales consultant or a manager for $9 or $10 an hour, and if they're really good, they probably know they're good, and maybe they're taking their job just as that job as a stepping stone or just to get a paycheck at the time. So don't fool yourself. Cheap doesn't last, and you're going to lose them. And the last thing you want is turnover. Secondly, recruit through your email or customer database, because you know they love tanning, and chances are they love your tanning. Why take a chance on taking somebody that has never been in your salon before or knows nothing about tanning? 3, provide incentives for selling lotions. I like just 10% across the board. There's a lot of different theories that they're out there about how to do commissions on lotions, that they have to be at a certain minimum level, whatever. Here's after 52, almost 53 years of managing people, when you have your sales consultants and your managers that also get paid a commission at the counter there, you don't want them hesitating. Oh, if I reach the threshold where I start to get paid commission in selling these lotions, 10% across the board, whether they sell a $40 bottle of lotion or a $140 bottle of black, tame the 10%. Your margin on lotion is ridiculous. And as you sell more lotions, you're going to sell more tanning. People don't buy lotion and not tan. So you want to make sure that your employees are selling lotions. And then here's a client that is, I just didn't believe this, but they're incentivizing their employees to sell everything from sessions up through EFTs. They were getting a commission, if you will, on everything for sessions and 30-day packages, whatever. That's crazy, because really our business really revolves around EFTs. Now, you may want to do something a little bit, you may want to adjust that a little bit as you're getting into the non-peak season where you can't sell as many EFTs. Or you could actually increase your rate of EFT bonus during the off season so they can make more money by selling EFTs. Selling EFTs that's it. That's what you need. There's no profitable salons. There are no real profitable salons that don't focus on EFTs. Number 4, when we're talking about raises and what to pay people, never give out raises without providing some specific performance feedback. That includes not only sales performances, but also attributes of being a good employee. So in other words, you're giving them performance feedback, not just on their sales numbers, but also on their reliability, their responsible behavior, their mature judgment, their interpersonal skills, all of the things that you want to see out of a good employee. You could have a good employee that sells the devil out of stuff, but they're not a team player. they're insubordinate to you as a boss or whatever. So you don't want that either. You want to give them feedback on their performance as a total employee, and never, never, ever give out Christmas bonuses. Now, some of you that are watching this are thinking I'm the Grinch. No, I am not the Grinch. What you want is you want them to see you, if you're making the decision on what to pay out in terms of bonuses or commissions, you want to see it performance based, based on merit. You don't want to see it based on you as Santa, or that this is some kind of magnanimous gesture on your part. Just because you've been here another year, I'm going to give you some more money. There is only one exception that I would make to that. I would always put it on performance. But because the performance has been really good, you may want to look at, for the balance of the year here, as you get into the last half of the year, you may want to offer a retention bonus for somebody that it works all the way through into January, where you're giving them $200 or $300 more, or depending upon the value of the employee, it may be a lot more money than that. That makes some sense, but then that's also really, isn't it, based on performance? Because you wouldn't talk to somebody that has a lotion average of $1. You wouldn't talk about wanting to retain them all the way through to the next, into the next peak season. So, okay, so moving on here. Okay, best talent never cheap. Okay, how much to pay is critical for recruiting the best talent, and it's what are your current employees paying you is the question I would come back. So when you talk about what is critical, when you start thinking about, John, where am I going to get all this money to pay this? Then the question I'm asking is, what are your current employees paying you? What I mean in their sales numbers, because low sales performances are costing you more than the higher wages you must pay. Let me repeat that. Low numbers and performances are costing you much more than what the higher wages you have to pay. Let me give you an example, and this was a real live example that I just happened to go through here just 2 weeks ago. An employee works 20 hours. They work 20 hours a week, and let's say, and I'm just rounding some numbers off here, they work and they're $10 an hour. So they're getting $800 a month in hourly wages, roughly. You know, a month sometimes has 31 days, so maybe a little more than that. And let's say that this employee, she handles 800 tans. Again, these are rounded off numbers, but this is a real salon just from 2 weeks ago. She handles 800 tans in that month. She has a PSA, or per sale average, which is both lotion and services, of $5.50. Now, here we are in the peak season. You're going to think, 550, John, our people are way over 550. Just follow the example for a second, because there are people, even in the peak season, that are as low as 550. And if you're higher than 550, which I suspect that a lot of you are for going through peak here, when you get into the non-peak season, you definitely could have some numbers as low as that. But all right, now that's $3.50 below the national average. And I say by national average, I'm talking about people that clients that first come to us. Sometimes, most of the time, they're around $9 on PSA. Our PSA average over our system in 2019, forget 2020 because of COVID, but in 2019 was $11.90. So it's even higher than the $9. But let's just say that they're $3.50 below what I consider the national average of people we start with. So that costs you $2,800 in missed revenues because she had 800 transactions. Okay. Now, does their lack of talent or passion cost you customers as well? It could. If their PSA is that low, how much passion are they really putting into what they're doing? So, and does it also affect other employees? One thing that we know that human resource, supposedly I'm an expert, human resource experts know, is that you put into a team what you think are good people, and you put one in the middle there that is a low performer. And typically, by the way, those low performers are also they're obstructive to other people's work ethics. They may be gossipers, or they're late on their shifts, or they're looking for trouble, whatever. And so somebody that has that lack of passion is costing you customers, it's costing you money, but it may also be contributing to the problems that other employees are having, because it might be an environment that's just not good. I always say that, if you can't redirect someone in the positive direction, you got to get rid of them. It's one of the tough decisions of being a leader, a manager, or an owner, but you got to do it. Okay, so what if you recruited at $12 to get better talent? Okay, that would cost you the same 80 hours times $2 more, or $160 more. Now, again, I'm not talking about taxes here, and I'm not talking about commissions and stuff. We're just talking about base wages. So it costs you $160 more, and and now more than what you're paying now. Plus, you're going to get additional lotion and package commissions, bonuses, but also revenues, and you want to be paying those out, those bonuses. But you see this simple analogy from 2 weeks ago. It is so much better to have people that are that hiring them that will come in at higher rates, that want to come in at higher rates. Now, $12 an hour in some markets doesn't work. We have on the West Coast, poor West Coast, and also the East Coast, and also some of the markets like Dallas or Houston, some of the really high average income markets. We've been hiring some consultants at $13.50 an hour, but we've been getting some good ones too. Can you end up paying more money for the same poor performance? Yes, you can, if you don't know what you're doing interviewing wise. That's why I really strongly recommend go to my YouTube channel and go to the interviewing webinar that we have there. Okay, but overall, when you look at this example I'm bringing up, you're still making a lot more revenue than you were before by having cheap talent. So I wanted to give you all of this because I know that there's an awful lot of tumult out there about what do we pay people, and a lot of it's going to depend upon the market. It'll depend upon somewhat the background of the employee. I would not go cheap. This is not a time for you to go cheap. We're doing well. The industry is really tanked up. We've got momentum now, people. Momentum is super important. You don't want the momentum to go away. So if you're hiring people that are really good, they're going to cost you more. Just like tanning beds that have really good eye appeal are going to cost you more. Good locations are going to cost you more. I say, I don't want to pay more than $12 a square foot. You don't have to, but you'll be in the war zone. And so a lot of times you're up there 18, 20 bucks a square foot to get a good location. Okay, you guys know all about me and whatever. I think most of you do, and what I've done. And particularly over here, 53 years of managing employees, 51 years of marketing, 572 salon companies now. So, it's just wanted to say that because what's important is that when you talk to somebody that's supposed to be a consultant, you have to be able to trust them. And trust is the most expensive thing in the world. It is. It can take years to earn and just a matter of seconds to lose. So I try as hard as I can to get back to clients, even the clients that aren't officially my clients anymore, but people that come to me that had worked with me before. I try to get back to them as fast as I can. Obviously, the clients that are still my paying clients, they get top priority, but I try to get back to everybody as quick as I can because they trust me. And speaking of trust, I've said this on previous webinars as well. You shouldn't trust anyone that says they're a consultant or says, oh, I'm an expert on this business. Trust the people they've worked with. If somebody says to you, listen, I'm really good at this and I'm a consultant and I'll charge you X amount to help you with this or whatever, then have them give you some testimonials, people that they've dealt with. Like you see there on the screen, there's 14 on the screen there, and there's another 8 with phone numbers, email addresses, names, whatever. Call them. Call any of them. Call any of them and see, does this old man know what the hell he's talking about? And I'll just leave that up to you, and then you'll know who and what you can trust. And if you're looking to make do a makeover on your business, and now you've gotten through the peak season, and hopefully you've gotten the cash register fattened up a little bit, but you want to get ready because you don't want to just walk away from Jason. July, August, and September are really a tough quarter, but you want to get ready because there are monies you can pick up in July, August, and September, and a lot of ways to do it that are going to be over what you did in 2019, and that's all found money. Unless, of course, you've got a whole bunch of new expansion and new equipment and a new location or whatever. But if everything is the same and you pick up, let's say, 10, 12% over what you did in July, August, and September of 2019, that's all found money, but you need to know how to get it. And listen, I do it all. We do makeovers from me, or the salon doctor, pricing, EFT design and strategy, marketing rather, HR guidance, staff training. Been doing this for a long time, and with an awful lot of tanning salon companies, 572 or 570, whatever it is. It starts as low as $950 for 30 days. And a lot of salons, we can turn things around in that first 30 days. It's rare that I have to go beyond 60 days. That's something that we'll talk about and negotiate. And you see all of the accolades I'm giving myself down here. A lot of salons, this is all I do. I don't do anything else. I don't have another job. I do this full time, much to my wife's chagrin, about 6.5 days a week. As a matter of fact, when you see this, I'm doing this on a Saturday, or no, this is a Sunday. I'm doing this on a Sunday. So anyway, if you want a free consultation, you see the notes in there on the bottom. Go to johnrfarr.com, set up a free consultation with me. Hey, if you don't like what you hear, fine, no problem. I'll help you anyway for that consultation. And we'll see if it's a fit, and we'll go on from there. So would love to deal with you, and I hope that you've had as great a peak season as everybody's had. We had a client that I just talked to yesterday. I think she's the queen of increases. She, over 2019, for the first 5 months through May, she is up 92%. Now, she brought in a couple new beds. Okay, she did do that. I can't get credit for that. She gets credit for that. But we redid all of her pricing, and we redid all of her marketing. And we also did some work on her staffing. 92%. I can't promise you that we'll do 92% on everybody, but our average is way up there anyway. So, I mean, this peak season, I would say right now our average is at least 40 to 45% over what everybody did in the first 5 months of 2019. So would love to talk to you, and hope that you got something out of this, and just keep your passion up. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.